This is another Coach Bronner road trip tip. Now, if you notice my tire, this tire has a slight protrusion, a little bubble here. Now, that can be a definite problem down the road. I'm traveling now for the month of July. I'll do about 4,000 miles, but I noticed this on my tire. Now, let me give you some advice about what to do when you're dealing with something like this. First of all, most modern cars don't have spare tires. Absolutely don't. So you're stuck. If you get a flat tire, then you're kind of stuck. Some cars will give you a tire repair kit which has some fix-a-flat in it, and well, you can pump up the tire supposedly, but depending on what kind of damage you get, fix-a-flat won't work. If this blows out, fix-a-flat won't do you a bit of good. Now, let me tell you what kind of tires these are. These are, first of all, run flats, which means if the tire blows out, it'll keep going. You can drive approximately 50 to 75 miles with a totally flat tire because the sidewalls are stiff, and you can drive 50 to 75 miles. When you're doing a lot of traveling, particularly, some of the places I go, you don't want to have a flat tire. I've had this happen once, which is why I have run flats, and I was able to go 70 miles to get to a station. So tip number one, if you're doing a lot of back roads traveling and you don't have a spare tire, which if you're in a modern car, 90% probability you don't have a spare tire, buy run flats. Run flats have pros and cons. The biggest pro is that it'll run flat. You can go 50 to 75 miles with a totally, airless tire without a real big issue. You have to keep the speed, 50 miles an hour or so, but you can't go 80, but you could, but it's not advisable. Good morning, how are you? So that's the first thing, buy run flats. Now, the disadvantages of run flats, they may cost just a little bit more, and they ride differently. Most people and the experts will say a run flat, because of these stiff sidewalls, they run rougher. I have noticed any real difference between the tires that came with the car, which weren't run flats, and these. So for me, it makes no difference, but I have the extra security of knowing if I get a bubble and my tire blows out, I can get 75 miles before, my tire just completely shreds. Now, tip number two, buy your tires from a dealership, particularly if you travel, that has multiple locations nationwide. These are Firestone tires. Well, not Firestone tires, but they're from Firestone, which is also Tires Plus. This means since it is in warranty, I can go to any Firestone or any Tires Plus in the country, and they will replace the tire. And they've got all my records in the computer, so no matter if I'm from Atlanta and I'm in California, they'll still replace the tire as long as it's a Firestone or Tires Plus dealer. So those are a couple of tips. If you're doing a lot of traveling, particularly, out of the way places, and you don't have a spare, change to run flats. It'll be worth it, particularly if you have just one issue and one blown tire. The other thing about it, if you're on the expressway and the tire does blow out, you won't careen out of control because it won't go flat. It'll just keep riding. So it's a safety issue also. So those three things. Number one, switch to run flats. Number two, switch to a dealer that has a nationwide network and a whole lot of stores so you can get it replaced anywhere you are in the country. And, if it blows out, you're going to be reasonably safe. You can go up to 75 miles. They rated it 50, but I actually went 70. It was about shot when I got to the dealer, but I made it. So it's Coach Bronner on my July road trip with just a little another road tip for safe and hassle-free driving. I'll see you tomorrow.